morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser. It is a Friday morning, so we are reckless as always, and as reckless as that
Yeah.
freaking hat that
I
we
had
get.
to fit in. It's my first Reckless Friday, so I figured.
Anan is back in action. What's happening?
What's up, guys? Feels good to be back. And yeah, there's hats involved now, so I guess I've been gone for that long.
Hats now, yes. And Gordo is filling in for Kazi, who just had the second baby. So congratulations to Kazi over here.
Yeah, congratulations.
We do feel bad. Personally, I do, having seen Kazi talk about second and third place trophies and stuff. I hope to God that kid wins everything. otherwise it could get ugly. But Gordo's here. What's happening?
Yeah, I've got one child who's neither Venus nor Serena Williams, so we'll see. he's got a game tonight, and he's barely there on the soccer field. He likes to run around. He found a duck feather the other day, which was much more interesting than the game going on. So
that was actually like when I was coaching. I think those years are a bit more frustrating because it's cute in the beginning, and then it just gets like, oh come on, man, like it gets tiring. But then couple of years, at least some of them go through that. Ryan says, morning dudes. Again, Kazi has had sex. I mean, yes, it is hard to believe, but they do great things with science these days. So maybe he hasn't. We don't know. Anything is possible too. So a lot of news to get to. First of all, again, I'll mention it tomorrow. If you want to go, pets, Gordo, he will be. Anam, will you be joining us at the Chicago Fan Fest?
That was the plan, but that was also before a lot of health complications and stuff. So I can't really be in the car for 4 or 5 hours to get there.
Yeah, see, that's what I was like. I'm like, it is driving distance. But yeah, so we will be at the Chicago Fan Fest with Gordo. I will rock the hats so that you can be like, there they are, kind of a thing. But yeah, come and say hi. I will try to bring all the coasters around with me, haul it around. And Gordo and I will be throwing it at people like discs. So yeah, if you want to come say hi, it would be great to meet people and then talk a little bit as we watch the Bournemouth game. So it should be interesting in the crack of dawn, if you will. What time are you planning to be joining the festivities, Gordo?
7.
You have to leave like 5 hours before where you
Yeah, 7 because I'm bringing Finn and we're leaving at like 5:15, 5:30. So,
oh god damn, that's early. If you didn't wear the hat, no one would recognize me. I do blend in pretty good. But the hat should help. I'm hoping at least the hat would be like, what?
You're not gonna wear one of your neon jerseys? That's what I assumed you'd be doing. Just a giant billboard for.
I do have that orange one that I really like, so I might actually rock that. You never know. A lot to get to, man. Some like weird stuff. I guess we'll start with the weird stuff. With Trent's where did it go? I'll find it a little bit over here. Trent's buying there we go. If not right, is that a team? Yeah, so the rumor is that he's placed a bids to purchase it. Is it maybe because that way he can kind of play in midfield? Like he was like, I'll tell you guys where I'm gonna play too and stuff like that. I'm assuming it's a BS story, Anan. Not to mention, I don't know if it's doable for a player to buy a team while they're active. I don't even know if there's a thing against that or for it or not. But
there isn't. But also, the article said that it's through an investment fund managed by his dad. So technically, it's not really him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he owns the investment fund, but it's not like he's going up. He's like, "What's up, guys? Here's the money. Give me the club." No, it's like it's going through the whole legal process. So it looks like he knows what he's doing, and he's been through the loopholes. If that's what he's doing, would be kind of cool for Trent to just be this young and just own his own club. Oh, Slot, you keep taking me out. Okay, bye. I'm going to my team. That would really be kind of funny.
Yeah. I don't know, like I guess it's like a smart investment and stuff. Maybe they were trying to do it behind the scenes and it kind of got out kind of thing, Gordo. And I'm sure now that it got out, it will probably go away because I don't know, like I say, while it's a great investment, it's an investment that can be done in 10 years as well. And it is not like something that you would want the drama to come with.
Yeah, but I'm with Anand in saying that, like, oh, they picked the biggest person that was also kind of linked to this buy. It's probably more of like a group situation, and like, oh, there's Trent Alexander-Arnold's name is on there. Let's like boost that, or like it might not even be him. It might just be because he owns a part of the Alpine F1 team as well. That investment firm that he's part of. So it could just be something like that, and they're like, oh, this is great because he's the one soccer player that's in it. Let's put his name in all the headlines. Apparently, too, like the owner of Nantes is like furious over the leaks. So, I mean, this might all be swept under the rug or canceled because somebody inside the talks let it go before it was ready to go. So sometimes that has an effect on proceedings as well, and they might just pull it.
I mean, it was like 160 million or something like that. I was like, damn, man, like Trent's got money laying around like that. So, I guess that's why he hasn't signed a new contract yet, kind of thing. But Heskey about a percentage of less. So really, I don't remember that personally. And Tyler Adams, a minor league team.
Well, yeah. There's also Mo Salah owns Manchester United. So I mean, there's a lot
of
things that. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going there. Hold on. Oh, that was good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you guys are right. Probably they found one guy that's soccer related and a big name that has like a small share in it and made it some like big news. And
it
stuff
actually
like
reminds me when Will Ferrell got invested in LAFC. Everybody's like, Will Ferrell bought LAFC. Not even 5%, bro. But, you know,
there was like
knows
40 other people involved in it. Yeah.
But like that's the only name they know. So it's Will Ferrell with his own soccer team. And then you look at it, and he literally only owns like one of the bathrooms. But it's how it is.
Hey man, if it's the nice bathroom, you never know.
Right.
Alisson is most likely out again. He did not practice yesterday. He didn't totally rule him out, I don't think, in the press conference, the way I read the transcript, but missed 40 games in the past 5 seasons. I don't know what it is. I mean, some of these have been like while he's trying to kick, he kicks the ball weird, like with the outside of the foot, full speed and stuff like that, crazy things like that. But is this basically why we perhaps bought a backup plan? So if the Saudis come knocking on, you're in the Saudi news mix. Like if something like that happens similar to Ederson, we're able to move on, actually make money, and get one of the best goalies in Europe.
I think the move happened because by the end of next year, his contract's up. Ali did mention that he does want a new contract. He wants to stay. So we bought a keeper for the future and solely that. But it does help. We do have a young keeper that's good, you know, nominated for best keeper in the world, nominated for so much going on for him at such a young age. And knowing we have a keeper who, I think we talked about it at some point in the summer when we were just talking about stuff to talk, is how often he gets injured. So it's not a surprise to anyone. I guess it's the way it came because every time he gets injured, we see it happen at a game and we know he's injured. This time it was like, alrighty, well, let's read the press conference. Holy shit, he's injured, you know?
Yeah.
But you knew it was going to happen here or there. He didn't fully rule him out. He said he is a doubt, but even him being a doubt means he's sort of kind of hurt and we're going to assess again. So that's the problem. And I hate it because, you know, one of the nicest people, but that's what happens when you shave your beard, man. See, I just left it. I ain't touching it.
I saw that. Yes, maybe his whole like weight balance shifted up or something like that when he cut it. But this is, I mean, Sergi's probably right. It's why we kept Keller. And I guess, Gordo, if he's a doubt, this enables you to play your backup in confidence. Whereas if we sold Keller, you're probably like asking Ali, like, how bad is it? Can you go at all? Because otherwise we just have kids.
Yeah, and this is why I thought this is the best piece of business that we've done in quite some time, right? With buying a world-class keeper on the up and up, and loaning him back, and also keeping our number 2, having a goalkeeper that's at the end of his contract. And also, you know, goalkeepers can obviously play longer than most players, but he is at the end of his career in terms, you know, he's in the twilight, we'll say. So I thought this was phenomenal business. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you hope that they do for everybody on the team. If you've got players like Virgil, you got players like Salah coming at the end of the contracts, this is what you want. You want this kind of transfer market moves. And so I thought that, you know, keeping Kelleher, even though he has mentioned time and time again he wants to go, we put a price tag on him. He had some offers come in and we were like, no, he's not, we're not letting him go for that. We put our foot down and now we've got a good number 2 that's reliable. We've got Alisson whenever he's fit. We'll definitely slide it. He'll be number 1 goalkeeper in any team in this league. And, most of the leagues in the world at this point. So I think it's, I couldn't be happier with at least the goalkeeping position for the transfer market.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Keller doesn't feel that way, but in some ways, in fairness to him, Anan, he hasn't said, I want out or anything like that. I mean, he's asked, so he's gonna say, yeah. I mean, which backup says no? You know what? This is kind of cool. Apart from Adrian, maybe
Carson,
who says
Scott Carson?
Who's gonna be especially at his age and as he builds confidence, and here's another thing. It's one thing to kind of sit in the shadows and just do the warm-ups and stuff like that. We just talked about how long Ali has been out, how many games he's missed. He has played a lot, and he has played well overall when he's played. So obviously, it's natural that he does want to start somewhere, but it's not like he's ever caused problem for not starting.
Yeah, and even when he spoke, he did it while on international duty, and he didn't even say it in a bad way. He said, I just want to be a number 1 goalie, and I want to start, and maybe that's why I'll be leaving. And the manager had a classy response, which was pretty straightforward. I would be upset if he didn't want to start. I'd be upset if he was just fuck it, I'll just sit here. No, it's good that he wants it. He's hungry. I guess he spoke his starting position into existence a week ago because he's very likely going to start tomorrow, and I hope that little shit can back it up. That's all I can say. That's all I'm going to say. So, yeah, I like the guy. Very classy. It hurts to see a club bring in the next big thing, knowing damn well you thought you were the next big thing. So I know his ego is hurt. I know he's not as happy as would be. But it is what it is. And as Sir Z calls him, Marmalade is a great keeper. and I think the future is bright for the club in that position.
Well, let me ask you guys this, though. Why not Kelleher? Or would you guys be more confident if it was Kelleher as the successor, and then we bought a backup for Kelleher, for example, as opposed to an unknown quantity? And, the only thing I do not get, and they did ask him today in the press conference about, what he wants out of the goalie and stuff like that. And maybe that's why they were asking a lot about it, because the new guy, I mean, that's one thing, and we saw it in the Euros as well, not that good with his feet, which seems to be a staple these days of what you want out of a goalie. Obviously, he's young, especially for a goalie, so he can kind of develop that as it goes or something like that, Gordo. But yeah, would you be more confident in, okay, let's say we go into next season, right, with Marmalade? Why do you guys do this? With Marmalade as 1, and then probably somebody else as 2, because we assume at that point Keller would want to move on for sure, because now we brought a new number 1 in. Would you be more confident the other way around, where Keller is the number 1, you know what you're getting, and then we get, I don't know, an old dude as backup?
Well, the human side of the story is oh yeah, definitely he's done his work and now he deserves to get that number 1 spot. But it's Alisson we're talking about, who is probably, if not the best goalkeeper in the world on his day, definitely top 5, and throughout his career. And Kelleher is not anywhere near the top 5 in the world. So you've got a unique situation where if you get a backup for Kelleher, that backup is now worse than Kelleher. And so you're just you're kind of going backwards. I think it's that we need another number 1 like Alisson, because I really do think that the pieces all came together with the spine that we created. It definitely, all the pieces locked together. That corner piece was Virgil van Dijk, but I don't think we'd win the trophies we do without Alisson in the sticks. So I think it's that mentality of you don't want to go back when we've had something so good. And if Kelleher wants to stay, let's say it doesn't work out, and we end up keeping Kelleher, then Kelleher is number 1 goalkeeper, and we have this backup that has the potential, is good enough. It's probably on similar levels right now to Kelleher. I just think it's that mentality of we're losing a number 1, we should get somebody that can fill those shoes, and Kelleher is not that. He's a good goalkeeper. He does the job when we ask him to, but he's not a top 5 goalkeeper.
That's fair. The Polish Prince says if the club truly felt that good about Keller, there wouldn't have been a purchase like this. We would have seen more Jaros Pitaloga type signings. And that's true. I think, we rate Keller, I think, really, really high. I mean, he also says we'll always overrate our own players, but we're rating him as a backup goalie. I think that's like the biggest difference. For a backup goalie, he's really, really good. He's like the best backup goalie. But I don't think when he's in goal, I don't think we're saying like he's one of the best goalies. We're like, oh shit, he's in goal now. Where's Ali? You're waiting for Ali to get back, but he's a very, very capable backup. So that kind of like, as opposed to if he was gone, for example, right now, we've been a lot more panic mode. There's not a lot of panic in this, conversation right now because we're kind of confident in terms of we know what he can come and do. But obviously, they didn't feel like he'd be that one. I guess my biggest concern is Mamardashvili. I had to pull his name because you guys said Marmalade so many times. I forgot the guy's real name.
Georgia is so easy.
Yeah. So Mamardashvili ordeal. I guess, Anan, I'm always concerned because the goalie situation is very tough, right? When you replace a goalie, I mean, we've done really good with Ali, but because it's not like you can do a bunch of little things and get away with it. Like you can be out there as a midfield player, not have a great game, but do bits and pieces right here and kind of get away with it, right? And have an average 6 performance. I feel like with a goalie, it's hit or miss in most cases. And also, like when Ali makes a mistake like this, like against Milan, I thought that he could have done better in that goal as well. I know it was like defending. He probably doesn't get the biggest slice, but there are goals where you feel like he could have done better. Now we kind of forego all that stuff because it's Ali and we know how good he is and we know all the shit he's done. You bring Mamardashvili in, every goal is going to be dissected in terms of what the goalie is doing.
And isn't football so beautiful? Yes, that's exactly what's going to happen. But here's the thing: Mamardashvili or Giorgio or Marmalade, whatever you want to call him, he's proven himself in La Liga. I mean, we're talking about a league that has Courtois. Like it's a league that has some really Ter Stegen. There's some good goalies in that league, and he's constantly best keeper of this of the league. He's nominated to the I forgot the name, I'm gonna butcher the name. He's nominated to he's nominated to the Golden Glove. I mean, when you play for a club like Valencia, that's not competing, that's not in the top 4, the top 2, or the top 3. They're not fighting for a title, and you're conceding goals because your team is shit, but you're still being nominated as one of the best keepers. It tells you everything you need to know. See, Kelleher is a good keeper. He's just not world class. Now that could be because we haven't seen him get a run like Marmalade. He's been, starting for Valencia since 2021. So he's able to develop himself. But initially when he went to Valencia, it was just a loan, kind of like put him in the reserves. They needed to get the kid some minutes. And then boom, all of a sudden he takes over the starting role and he becomes what he is today. Maybe Kelleher will have that when he moves to the next club and he becomes a starter and becomes a number 1. But I think you said it perfectly. We think he's good because we're rating him as a backup keeper. If Kelleher was our number 1 and we watched him week in, week out, would we say oh my God, he's so good? I super doubt it. Not in a bad way because I like him, but I just doubt it because the ability isn't there. Again, he's good. He's not great. He's amazing. He's not excellent.
There's a scale, right? Because like when he makes an error, like there's a goal that he concedes, we're always like, Kelleher could have done better with that too. But he's a backup. That's kind of like
that's the thing. When Kelleher makes a mistake and it's bad, we're like, it's okay. He's a backup. He hardly plays. He needs to. Now, when Giorgio comes in and if he's making those mistakes, like, okay, hold on, this was an investment. This was one for the future. What is wrong with him? Yeah. But that's why the transition is going this way. He stays in Valencia. I think even next season, if he comes in, I still think he's number 2 behind Ali if Ali decides to stay. And then we make that big transition, the big move. But that's just building up the guy to be the next big thing. I've been, 2 seasons in a row, I watched the guy. I really like him. And when I saw that we're interested in him, like, there's no way. And then it turns out to be, I'm like, holy shit, we're actually making moves.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah.
Gordo said it. It is a great investment in the future.
23.
Yeah.
I knew it was like young, but I didn't realize he was this young. For a goalie, that's very, very young.
Was one of the best keepers at the Euros. Was one of the highlight names at the Euros. A lot of people were talking about him. I mean, We've brought him up a couple of times, and we weren't even trying to sign him. We just liked him because he was a good goalie. And then boom, you find out a month later that we're actually signing this guy. Oh wow.
Serzi says, I think Keller gets into top 6. Way.
Kelleher is an Ohio 8 and an LA 4. We'll just say that. If we're comparing him on that scale, he's looked in with the lenses of coming from Ohio. He's an Ohio 8. If he moved to LA, he'd be a 4.
So let's do it this way. Would you take Kelleher over Ederson?
Now, like right now?
At this moment, today.
Yeah. Ederson looks to be going the opposite. Like,
his mind is now in the money.
Form-wise, I think, ever since this.
Okay. Would you take him over Martinez at Aston Villa?
No.
Can we do like an annoying thing? Like,
Martinez wins that.
As a goalie, if I ignore how fucking annoying he is as a goalie,
he's annoying.
There's no way we're gonna do top 6. I would not top 10, not even. I don't think when you look at the Premier League. Goalie.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a club in the top 6 where he easily walks in, and here's
a good one: Onana. Keller.
That's the only thing I can think of. He can walk in ahead of Onana, but jokes aside, Onana's a very good keeper. He makes some dumb mistakes. Listen to me. He makes some dumb mistakes, but he plays for United. Once you go there, your IQ level goes down automatically, so it does affect you that way. But the guy is a good keeper.
But see, I think he's the perfect example of how a goalie can, doesn't matter how good they are, because he was really good at before he came over. But when you come in and you're kind of seen as the savior, the guy that's going to make a difference, everything gets overanalyzed. If De Gea was kind of like conceding, he's conceded some really bad goals, I'll have to say. But so did De Gea. So does every goalie. But I think it gets analyzed 10 times more when somebody comes in, first of all, with the price tag. And second, we're like, we got rid of this guy. We're bringing this guy because he's going to be so much better. I feel like for Mamardashvili, it's even more difficult because he's going to be replacing Alisson. It's similar to like what we're talking about, Slot replacing Klopp all this time. Everything is going to be compared. And I think that's what my concern of making the big changes. But I think, there's no way we're putting him into top 6.
With seeing Newcastle are in the top 6 right now, he would not get in above Dubravka. I mean, that dude is a machine. He's one of the best keepers in the world, period. Just doesn't get the credit for it because he plays for Newcastle. But Dubravka is a very good keeper. A one-on-one, that's probably the best keeper in the league right now.
Okay, let's go. Martinez, we said Martinez?
Say that again.
Martinez. We said Martinez?
Yeah, we said no unless we're doing an annoying contest.
Pope or Kelleher?
Nick Pope, dude.
Yeah, Pope. And that's the other thing. It's like Dubravka, Pope. Like he's not getting anywhere near that Newcastle team.
Leno.
I mean, come on. This is a guy that made a name for himself.
Okay,
at
here's
Arsenal
a decent comparison. Ramsdale.
Yeah, definitely over Ramsdale. Yeah.
Okay.
I would take him over Ramsdale.
I would take Ramsdale over him. I mean, last year we were talking about Ramsdale being one of the best goalies in the world.
Ramsdale as well, personally.
When Ramsdale was at Arsenal, we were like, that's the best goalie.
I thought you meant like right now, like because
we're just comparing goalie skill to goalie skill, not form.
Yeah, I'm going skill and I'm going Ramsdale just because we know what he's capable of. But again, that's because we've seen him get a 38 season.
He can't save penalties though, and Kelleher can. And how many times have we been in situations where we've needed a penalty save? So I'd take Kelleher simply for that.
Thing is, I like Kelleher, but I would take Ramsdale. I feel safer.
Dubravka, Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, I'd take Sanchez.
Yeah, I mean, here's a good one. Pickford.
Just duly to arm length, I would take Kelleher.
Just in case we need
the hairdo too. I don't like the hairdo. He looks like he's selling fake watches on the back of his car with that hairdo.
I guess he's Arab
this
now.
Up there. Thiago is in the news, so we have to bring it on so Anand can just have some nostalgic moments. Thiago says, this is for Gravenberg, obviously, that he's getting better in that position in the midfield. You can see it's really flowing through the midfielders. It's really good to see how he's evolving and adapting to that position. Man, I hate to say it. If Thiago was semi-healthy, he would probably thrive in this position too. But if Thiago was semi-healthy, he would probably thrive in any freaking midfield situation.
Yeah, that's easy to say. Yeah.
So, what do Gordon because some of the contributors add links to talk about in the chats. I don't know if you were aware, but anyway, so Gordo put this in there, and so I figured we would talk over it because Thiago is your boy.
But Gordo, he knows Thiago's my boy, so technically that's me contributing. I'm just putting
okay.
that out there.
I guess
it was Gally that put this in actually.
Oh, is it really? Okay, so
yeah.
even guys who are not on the show actually put links over there.
I just said I agreed with him.
No comments. It's Thiago. I thought you'd be just using this occasion to.
I thought you asked Gordo. He just said I agree with him. I thought he was gonna go deeper into it. Gordo, it's Feckless Friday. You got to say something, man.
I mean, yeah. With Thiago, if you're talking about if it was healthy, if that's the question, of course. But like you also said, he would fit in any team in the entire world would take a fit Thiago. If we had even the non-fit Thiago that we acquired like day one under Klopp would succeed in this position. And I think we'd miss him more because I think what he would do in this setup would be more than he did under Klopp. And he did a lot under Klopp when he was fit. So I think it would be one of these things where we'd be crying when we saw that he was injured in this kind of system, because this just screams Thiago, playmaker, slowing the ball down. There are certain players in the world that when they touch the ball, the world stops. Like you watch the game slow down when the ball's at their feet. The game's still moving at the same speed. Like Luka, I'm thinking like Luka Modric is one of those players where the ball comes to him and the game slows down and he sees everybody. He knows what they're going to do and he can make the pass that he wants to. And this would be Thiago in this role. And it's annoying and saddening that we don't get to see him in this position.
Well, Gordo looks a little like Messi today. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah. So is anybody hearing that static?
I got static.
I think it's from you. Well, we're good.
Look at that. The Arab fix worked. Just hit it one time. It would stop. Yeah. So we are 3 days ago. We celebrated the anniversary of the Thiago arrival. Well, I guess I celebrated.
I was going to say,
we is strong.
Yeah, listen, Thiago's right. Ryan Gravenberch has been improving. He's actually proving me wrong. And I do want to put that out there because I was against him playing at the 6. I thought he would be too greedy with the ball and too eager to do stuff with the ball that it wouldn't work. It worked out really well. He's doing great. And like Thiago said, he's improving. He's only going to get better. It's only 5-6 games in. I'd like to look at him 15 games in and how his game evolves to that next level. And I think we're in for, one of the big surprises of the season. We could be talking about an early player of the season candidate for us as a club. And it's positive. It's good. I like it. And yeah, I mean, if Thiago was fit, we'd be on top of the league. We wouldn't lose a single game. We wouldn't concede a single goal. And you're muted. See, Thiago took his voice away.
No, I said he would be backing up Gravenberch if he was
right
now.
Yeah, that's no, he would be starting every single game. But yeah, listen, to focus on Gravenberch himself. I'm so happy with how he accepted the role and how he's willing to change his whole game, because he's the kind of guy that likes to take the ball and dribble and make the fancy move and he changed his whole game to work this position. And if that tells you anything, it tells you that this kid is willing to do whatever it takes to play. And that is a big, shut up to me, because I was very upset with him, not coming back early in preseason, not showing like he cared. You know what? Can't judge a book by its cover. Kid really cares. He wants to be there. I feel like if he came back early, he would have learned a position a little earlier, but it's okay. But here he is. He's improving, and I'm so happy. And I'm starting to think the club didn't buy a 6, and hopefully we get to it, because I hope some contributors sent links, those assholes. I think the club didn't sign a number 6 and use Gravenberch there because Zubimendi might be coming in January.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. I wish somebody put the link in. But here with Gravenberch, though, the funny thing is we were watching.
What did Sergi write about Szoboszlai?
That you were wrong about Szoboszlai Nunes as well. But no, we were watching. I think we were watching the highlights or something like that with Angie downstairs, and I was like, "Man, he's been so good," or something like that, like with Gravenberch. And then she reminded me the fact that we talk so much shit about him, like, why didn't he come in early, earn the spot, and stuff like that. So maybe all he needed was a decent vacation Gordo. But I mean, in all seriousness, it feels like all he needed was more confidence and starting. Maybe he's one of those guys that kind of like tries to do a bit too much to earn a spot last year, whereas now he's kind of like, playing within the system because he's more comfortable in his own skin, if you will.
Maybe it's the language. Maybe he's being spoken to in his native tongue.
Oh, don't go there again.
No, listen, because there are some people like I can read German, right? I can sit there and I can read German. If you were to sit there and speak to me like full, like as a native speaker, I'd be like, what? What? I caught ich bin. That's all I got. Okay. You are what? What are you? I don't know. So maybe he's just been like coasting. He's like, yeah, my English is good enough to get away with it. Now, like someone's just sitting in him and like talking to him with the nuances of the position. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but maybe it was a break, but I have to say from what? Because he didn't play. So technically he wasn't, he was already getting a break. He got to enjoy his summer in a nice country. And
yeah, he was kicking back. And then he knew all along. Let's answer this real quick before we go into the Zubimendi ordeal. But do you think Prime Coutinho would have been good on their slots? That's a good question. Like basically, I'm assuming if we're putting him, he would be playing for Szoboszlai. That's the only spot because he's not going to play on the wing in the system. So he will be playing for Szoboszlai. Would Coutinho do better in that role?
I think you'd have to say Prime Coutinho would do good at any team. Because they were looking at him as being like the next big thing, right? Like when he was
Prime Coutinho didn't have defensive work rate.
Yeah, but we didn't need him to. I mean, that was a system where like basically Rodgers was winding the team up and going, it doesn't matter if we let in 6, we're going to score 7 or 8. He wasn't being asked to do that. And when you're young and the coach is like, you don't have to get back. You're the guy that's going to score the goals. You're not going to listen to it. Now, if you're mature enough or you've got a coach that's like, this is not my system, you have to get back. I mean, look at how often have we said this year, it's only 4 games into the Premier League season, 5 games into the year, have we been like, oh my God, is that Szoboszlai making a tackle on the top of the 18-yard box in our defensive area? Well, he's never done that. It's because he's never been asked to. Now he's got a manager that's like, this is my system. So you'd assume that Coutinho would be asked to do the same thing.
Could he do it if he was asked? See, I'm in the thing that I don't think he could. Like, because it's like you can ask Nunez not to be offsides. I'm sure he's being asked, but there are certain things you can do, and there's certain things you can't do. Either physically, I don't think you gotta have the. Here's another thing, like sometimes, they talk about this in basketball, right? Like if you go at the guy who is good offensively, he kind of wears down because he's not as good on the other side. I feel like with like Coutinho, first of all, I don't think he has defensive work rate on, but even if he was like, okay, I'll hustle and do defensive work as well, then I don't think he's the same Coutinho going forward.
Yeah, I don't see Coutinho in any case having a defensive work rate. It's just not his game. It's not his style. It's not his body. It's just not what he does. So if we are to have Coutinho in this team, he's got to, Slot's going to have to sacrifice the defensive work rate. And that's why I also think Coutinho in a club team may have worked to an extent when you're playing certain teams. But again, when it comes to the high press, Coutinho is not going to do you any favors. So it's a very weird thing to discuss now because we wish we saw it, but I don't think Coutinho is the guy to give you that defense. I don't think Coutinho is the guy to give you the high press. He went to Barcelona. It's a very lack team that doesn't press. And then now he plays, he went to Qatar and he went here and there. It's just not his style. His style is, the Brasileño, the guy that gets the ball and makes you enjoy the style, take the shot from the outside, dribble, make a beautiful pass. But if you want this guy to get back and defend, just a tiny little boy, it's very tough.
That's where I'm at. I mean, Prime Coutinho did well under Rodgers. And I think we go back to what, Gordo was saying. I think, what was asked was totally different. And what was demanded was totally different. I think in terms of going forward, being that a bit more of a free role, I know he's more on the right-hand side and stuff like that, but more of a free role would suit him really well. I think he would do probably better than Szoboszlai going forward. I just don't think he's putting the same work rate in. But maybe Gordo, we'll never know. We might never know because, like Gordo says, maybe if he's asked, he will run more. And he would be a different player from youth as opposed to going up. So let me just
said, under Rodgers, we didn't care for defending. It's not like he said, guys, go out there and don't defend. He just knew we were shit. You know, we were just not a good defensive team. Defensively, we were just a clown show. But we knew it was okay because the SAS, right? We're gonna give us every time we concede 4, they're gonna score 5. We concede 2, they'll concede 3, and that's really what fucked us at the end against Palace because it was like 2-0, 2-2, 3-0. They're like, oh, it's okay. They scored 1, we'll score 1. Until fucking Dwight Gale came in and scored 70. No, but other than that, the club was supposed to just continue scoring goals freely. You don't get, a season like Suarez did easily. It comes by sacrificing your defensive duties and going out there and just scoring goals. And it worked out for a whole season. It did. So I don't see us back then. Again, yes, he had envelopes of the biggest disappointments and stuff. And I guarantee all those 3 envelopes that he had said the 3 disappointing players are defense, defending, and defense. Because other than that, the club was doing just fine. But
I think we've seen over time that shit does not win.
You get figured out
eventually. Good runs, but that attitude does not win. You have to play attacking football and all that kind of stuff. You can do all that, but you can't win a whole season in the Premier League. Maybe this speaks about Premier League saying, you know what? Who needs defending? We're just gonna outscore everybody.
And this is not a dig at Rodgers. Just gonna put
we'll leave that to Mecca. He doesn't know of that.
But it's not like he was out there saying, guys, I know we can. No, he just knew. He was like, fuck, I don't know how to tell him to defend. So just go get. I'm not trying to go at him and say he's anything, but it's not like he was like, listen, guys, I know this is gonna happen. No, he was like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Just go score goals, lads. Just go score goals. You show great character and just get the ball. And like that's exactly what he did. Because he didn't know how to set up a defensive formation. He didn't know how to do it properly. And he just put all his eggs in one basket. And at the time, it was Sturridge, Sterling.
That's interesting. You think it was personnel there, Gordo? Or is it just like how he kind of like approaches things overall? Because we've seen it somewhere like elsewhere as he goes on. He's more about, let's play open, we'll score more. Get a couple of good guys that can make things and stuff like that. And he does not set up. Because you can also look at your personnel and say, hey, we're weak over here, so we're going to play like this so that we cover the back. I mean, you kind of see Slot coming in and saying, hey, what is the biggest problem? Conceding all these freaking goals and trying to come back from a goal down. And he's made adjustments to the system that's prevented that, for example, and not say, oh, we got to be able to score more because we're going to concede.
Well, it was always his style too. Like, because before he came to us with Swansea, it was like I think a lot of people were like, "Well, that's just he's got the personnel at Swansea. They're not going to do anything." And then he goes to Leicester. After this, the same thing happens where they're just leaky at the back, and it might have just been like, "This is what's always worked for me," so I'm not even going to think about it. Like like a bad comedian going up with his notebook with all the jokes. Be like, all right, let's see what we got here. Like, what? Just as a sidebar, what is he writing? That was a bad goal.
He's like
he's always furious. I almost thought it was like maybe like a tick where he's like, all right, I can't show emotion. Instead of like getting angry or like running down the touchline or pumping my fist, I'll just like pretend I'm writing. So they turn the camera off me because I don't like it. But
didn't you do that in school? Like if the teacher asked a question, and you didn't want to be called, you're like, it's time to take some notes.
Yeah, I mean, it could possibly be.
It's kind of funny because every time we would concede a goal from a set piece, he would write something down. In my head, I'm like, okay, he figured out how to defend set pieces.
Yes, right.
But I guarantee he was writing shit. It happened again.
It's just a tally. You look, you zoom in, it's just tallies. That's all he's doing.
Damn, another one.
Another one.
Okay, let's talk about this real quick, and then we'll take a look at the Bournemouth game as well. Zubimendi rumors came out that he's not happy, and I mean, here's my question. I mean, did he really come out and say anything? Because I didn't see a quote. Or are people looking at standings and be like, he can't be happy with this shit? He probably wishes he went because they're the 16th.
That's what I'm
getting. They have 1 win, 4 losses, 1 draw.
That's what I'm getting from it.
Zubimendi.
So I was taking the headphones off. No, I was taking the headphones off because they were buzzing. So I took it off and put it back in, and all I heard is Connor Bradley. I was like, wait, what happened while I was asleep?
Yeah, I mean, did he actually say anything, or basically people are looking at standings and saying like, "I bet he wishes he was in Liverpool now."
Yeah, now you can write an article that just says people close to Zubamendi say, his friends, brothers, little sisters said that he
they're like
might be a little
Zubamendi's
upset.
camp. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
his camp
Right.
consists of a lot
They're
of people
roasting
he doesn't know
marshmallows,
on
and they're
Twitter.
like, "I
He
wish
goes-
you were in Liverpool now, aren't you?"
Somebody said if we sign him in January and don't unveil him with the "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," then I'll be really sad.
That would actually be clever. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, that is so wrong. That is so wrong.
Yeah, so there is no
okay.
official report saying he said that. But exactly what Gordo said, people close to him have said that he said that to someone that was close to him, that someone said it to someone, and then it somehow got to James on Twitter, and James only has 17 followers, so I don't even know why people believe him. But hey, let's ride along with it, okay? They're playing like shit. They're struggling. So he wishes he was at Liverpool. Okay. Obviously not last week because we did lose to Nottingham. But other than that, he wishes he was at Liverpool.
I mean, I don't know. You're like 16th in the La Liga, and then you turn the TV on Tuesday, and Liverpool's in the Champions League. You're like, that'd be nice to be in San Siro right about now. I mean, you could have just these and then pass the nachos, and then you just keep going. So, I mean, I'm sure he would rather be in the Premier League or in the Champions League than be 16th in La Liga. But I don't know if that means his decision was wrong and stuff. I'm kind of I mean, let me ask you guys though, if he does get signed, or would you guys want us to go after him in January if he's available again? Or because I'm a little irked now in terms of how this guy is going to adjust. I don't care about this. Oh, he didn't want us initially and stuff like that. Kind of like get over yourselves as professional. And not to mention, family decisions and stuff like that. But I think those family decisions worry me more than anything else. Will this guy come and not be able to adjust? Because, I don't want to say his heart wasn't in it all the time, but he was worried about not being able to adjust all along anyway.
Oh, all right. So
I threw it out there
I would
this time.
say, like if he comes in the summer.
See, if Kazi was here, who just answered while he was asking.
If he came in the summer, the bar for winning the fans over would be much lower, right? He doesn't have to do. He just gives us a couple of good performances, scores a goal, maybe an assist. Everyone loves him. Now, if he comes in January, he's got a much bigger bar to win back certain parts of the fan base because of that. Because I know, like, I'm with you, and I think anybody that has a family would totally agree with you. It's like that kind of comes first. And if you go home and like your wife and your kids are not happy where they're at, or they're nervous about going somewhere, not only does that put you in a terrible mind space, but that's going to affect what you do on the field every day. And if you're not happy, then you're not going to play happy. And so I totally understand that, and I wouldn't disrespect him for that. But there are certain parts of the fan base that are like, absolutely, like that was awful. That's completely embarrassing. Like he totally disrespected us on the national stage, and he'd have to do a lot more if he came in January to win those fans over. And I think, rightfully so. I think because when you get a big offer, it looks like it's going through, and right at last minute, you're like, I can't do this for a family. And then you're like, actually, you know what? I think I can, because my family doesn't mean as much to me as like being 16th and losing every weekend. Then you're going to have to play a little bit harder in January to win us over.
Well, I think I'm content with Gravenberch, honestly. Wouldn't mind if we waited for Zubamendi till next season if we are going to make the move, just because we put faith in the boy and he did everything he can to make it work. So to take it away from him because the Spaniard said yes is painful. But I'm not mad at Zubamendi for not coming to the club. Here's the thing, and we got to realize he mentioned family. I know the mountains thing, it's funny and all that, but he mentioned family. It was going through, and then family was mentioned, safety and all that. And just keep in mind, at the same time, there was some riots, violence. People were getting, arrested. People were getting jumped. People were getting beat up. Just as an image, right? For me, if I'm a family person who's worried about my little boys and my kids and my wife, this is what I'm seeing on TV when I go on Twitter and I type Liverpool, and the first video that comes up is them burning a building and dragging the people out of it and beating the shit out of them. I don't want to go there. Listen, the club is huge and I accepted the offer, but literally next day the riots started, and there's literally women being dragged because they're dressed a certain way on the street. Is that what I want? So I know it's a tough thing for a player to, reject your club on the national, international level. But sometimes you got to put the human shoes in it and take off the football fan or the football player shoes. And yes, it might stink when you take off the football player shoes, but when you look at the human part of it, wouldn't you not feel safe to be there with this happening? With people being dragged, buildings being burnt, people being attacked just because of their gender, race, or color, whatever it is. I think he made the right decision, even though it is our club. And when I say that, I say it's because he's somebody clearly who's very family oriented. So for somebody like that to see this and say, I'd rather stay home where I'm safe, I think he made the right decision. The same would apply, if a player was about to sign for a club in the Middle East and they see bombings happening or people dying, they're not going to go. They don't feel safe.
I mean, same thing, like when people would come to like Turkey, even as like freaking tourists, like my buddies would ask me or whatever, like, if you turn on TV and you see that something happened in the southeast and the Syria border, and you're like, dude, is it safe to go there? You're like, yeah, because you're going to Istanbul. Like, it's just
Right.
like, no, it's like you're going to a different planet. You're not going there to the Syria border. You're all going to Istanbul. But if you don't know the situation, like to that guy, that's what he's seeing. He thinks that's happening in the middle of Istanbul, and that's next to the Topkapı Palace. So he's like, oh, do I want to go on vacation over there? So I can see his family seeing that and be like, oh, I don't know about this, Zubi. And then Zubi is like, yeah, let's just wait. I'll just they just offered me more money anyway. I'll just take what they gave me, and then we'll sit.
Yeah.
And then maybe it'll come by again. There'll always be an opportunity.
I genuinely believe he knew he would leave Sociedad eventually. That's why he got the extension. They got themselves the guaranteed release clause, and then they'll let him go. And then, I just went on this very deep conversation, but, he's like, my family comes first and this and that. And then 2 months later, he's like, yeah, we suck. Fuck my family. I'm out.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care if they're happy. I'm fucking not happy. We're
like, if somebody drags my wife out of a car, totally fine. I'll pay him off. I need, this is just not working out right now.
I'll be at San Siro if anybody needs me. Yeah, I mean,
I saw what happened to Diaz's dad. He got him back. He's fine. He was at
Yeah.
every game after that. They paid for him to fly
And
over.
he's gonna show his wife videos of Diaz's dad. Honey, look, he was literally kidnapped.
Missing. We couldn't find him
While
for a
our
week.
kids nap, he was kidnapped. And guess what? He came back, and here's a video of him dancing. La 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 la. He's safe. And she'd be
But
like,
I mean, I think Gordo is right. It's gonna make it harder on him. But I'll be honest, like, for rotation purposes, and probably Thursday is right. I want to get to the Bournemouth game, so I'll save that conversation for another day. But I don't know if he's taking Gravenberg's spot. He might be taking Soboslai's spot. I'm bumping Mac up there. He might be playing along Gravenberg, especially with the form. I don't think Mrs. Zubimendi calls her husband Zubi. Why not? I think that would be like, hey, Zubi, dinner is ready.
I'm gonna tell you guys this. If you go to an Arabic country, don't call anybody Zubi. Just don't.
Oh, what does it mean? What does it mean?
Don't ask why. I'm telling you, it's a bad thing to do. Just don't do it. You're gonna get in a lot of trouble. It's not a good thing to say. But just if you go to the Middle East, don't call anybody Zubi. Trust me. Just trust me. Unless you want to be dragged out of the car.
Unless you're Mrs. Zubamendi.
Yeah, just call her Mrs. Zubamendi. I'm in an Arabic forum that they talk, and this guy, posts a comment, and then he just goes, with Zubamendi, this and that. The British people are calling him a word that none of us can say. So if we sign him, we have to shut down this page. And everybody's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Now I'm gonna have to go Google this afterwards. Damn it!
It would be really funny though if Miss Zubamendi called him Zubi.
Right? I think it's pretty good. Hey, Zubi.
Because she's also a Zubamendi. She's also Mr. and Mrs. Zubi. Oh God, the Arabs would love this.
It's like love you, Zubi. I think it's good. Like it's very catchy.
Say that I'm Arab.
They have a dog named Zubi too. That just complete the picture. I think it's great. Okay, Bournemouth game. Let's real quick get to that. He was asked if his players have learned their lessons, and he talks about, actually he would rather play against the low block, which I was kind of shocked to hear. Which playing against low block is one thing. I think we don't like to play against teams that play the ball long out of the back. We want to be able to press them. But he talked about, if everybody was 5% better, we had 70% possession and run around their 18-yard box. He feels like if we played better, it doesn't matter about the low block kind of thing. While we're watching the game at that freaking fan fest tomorrow, Gordo, as people are constantly petting you, are we going to be seeing a different game.
Well, first of all, like saying that he'd rather play against the low block feels very much like a kid on the playground that steps in poop, and he's like, "Well, I want to step in poop because I don't want you guys to be near me." Well, you know what? Actually, I'd rather play that way. It sounds very like defensive rather than strategic. But I said it on the Drink Inside the Box podcast. Is like because Kelly had mentioned like, of course, it's Bournemouth at home right after, sandwiched in between a phenomenal Champions League and then a stinker at home against Nottingham Forest. Another winnable game in front of the fans, another team that's going to play a low block. Of course, this is what we like pull out of the hat for in terms of our schedule. But I see it as like the best opportunity, right? Because you can put it to bed immediately. You go out there against Bournemouth, you destroy low block, you win 3-4 goals. And, Nottingham Forest is just a blip, and we can put that to bed. Now, of course, the opposite is also true with that is if you don't do that and we do lose another 1-0 or 0-0 or, we tie 1-1 or something like that, then we've got to now we see the weakness and everybody was going to exploit that. Like if you don't think that everyone's watching that and like, oh, this is how you play the system, then we've got a much bigger problem. So it's like if it succeeds, fantastic. Put Nottingham Forest to bed, move on. If it doesn't, now we've got bigger problems.
It's funny. He's got a bit of an ego, doesn't he? I like the guy. I like the guy a lot. Got a bit of an ego. And I noticed it when they first asked him. This is preseason. After the was it the Sevilla game we played at Anfield? Yeah. After the Sevilla game. So how did it feel with all these fans here? And his response rubbed me the wrong way. Again, I like him, but he says, this isn't the first time I play in front of passionate fans. I've been there before. This is nothing new. In the Dutch league, when I was coaching Feyenoord, our fans did the same thing. This is not new. I'm like, dude, relax. Just say thank you.
Yeah.
Say anything.
It was a softball pitch to you, and you were supposed to knock it out of the field.
She gave you the slam dunk, gave you the slam, you just got to dunk it. And then he just rubbed it like any shit. And then again, I'd rather play against the low block. No, you don't. This club doesn't prefer to play against the low block for the past 22 years. We don't want to play the low block. Yeah. So no, with Rafa, we struggled against the low block. I mean, with King Kenny, with everybody, Rogers, everybody struggled against the low block.
That's why people play the low block, damn it. Yeah. It's kind of like that's the only way they can get something out of it.
But he did this, and again, why ego comes in play, and again, I like him a lot. Very charismatic. But where ego comes in play is because he went on after the United game, and he talked about everything he did to win that game. He shared it. He pulled a Pep Lenders, except no book. He just gave it to you straight. All right, take your notes, guys. And he just said, we did this, and that worked. And it's because they didn't play a low block. We were able to do this. And Nuno was like, wait a minute. Okay, I see what I can do.
Yeah, he gave Nuno 2 weeks to prepare for it.
And then he just set him up. And now instead of coming out and saying, we don't want the low block, he just pulled the egotistic moves like, I'd rather play the low. What are you talking about? Like dude, literally what Gordo said, I want to step and poop. Yeah. I love poop, Like, why? Just say we'll see. Yeah. But he doesn't like to come across as wrong or as he didn't do the right thing or simply as he's been beaten with a question.
Yeah.
And he just, the reason why he just gives me Trump vibes, dude. It's so funny. It's so funny. He just doesn't take an L. He just has to win.
But I think if he says, see, what I like about him is he's not easy. Like, he's not that eager to throw out excuses and, say, because, teams don't play football against us and stuff like that. He basically says, that's fine. Like, we like that. Just do it. Do more of it. That's what I want, kind of a thing. I kind of like that approach more. I think there's a chip on the shoulder because all these questions, you look at any freaking transcript of a press conference, it's like almost like the media is kind of like looking down on him a little bit, saying you're from Netherlands. Do you even know how we do things over here, kind of a thing? You know what I mean? Like every question has that vibe to it. It's the same thing with those fans and stuff. You never seen this before, have you? And stuff. And he's like, yeah, I have. What else you got? So I think that's what's like a lot of the answers. I get that vibe out of him where he's like, yeah, it's not a big deal. I mean, they asked him again today, and he said it again today. He's like, yes, I get it. Premier League is better. than the Dutch league kind of a
Are
thing.
you happy?
He's like,
He's
yeah,
trying to
I
establish.
keep asking him the same thing about rotation and stuff. He's like, yes, I know it's better. Everybody knows it's better.
But like
He's trying to establish that dominant character.
Yeah.
And it's
But-
going to take time because Klopp wasn't dominant. He was just funny.
Right. Yeah. He would deflect it by saying, like, first of all, like, I couldn't understand what you were saying, your accent. You know, it's like it just totally deflates the hard pushing question. Everyone in the room laughs, and then he moves on without actually answering the question.
But he did come with more. I mean, he did come with, winning stuff with, Borussia Dortmund and stuff like that. And obviously the Bundesliga in the eyes of the media and stuff, I mean, overall, obviously, is better than the Dutch league. So I don't think he had to fight as much. He had like a career that was more respected coming in. Whereas I feel like every question is like just doubting the dude, and which is probably gets to him. And I think that's why I think he comes across cockier than he normally is. And once he gets going, I think if things go well, hopefully people will shut up asking him the same question about like comparing him to the Dutch league, and then things will go into normal.
Things are going to go very well with the guy. I love him. He's brilliant. He's got the right mindset. He's got the right style. And I think, well, or as he would say, style. He's got the right style. He's gonna take care of things. So I like the guy.
Anan, for the sake of my kid, please tell us what Zubi means. Says Sir.
It sounds like he doesn't want to say it on air. I wouldn't force him to say it.
We'll let the silence take over.
Sir C, I certainly don't want to tell your kid what it means.
Especially if you're going to say
your
it.
Kid probably has Google. Your kid probably knows by now. You're the one who couldn't Google
Translate.
it, and you're asking.
It is a very, very, very bad way to say penis. Very bad way.
Okay.
Like if you're telling somebody, like, how when you say it with a C, C-O-C-K, that's the exact same thing. And you just don't want to go around saying that to kids in a school for I don't know why.
Make even more sense now for the wife to call them Zubi.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey there, Big Zoob.
That's wrap it up. Predictions, anything?
Anyways. But to Anand's point about like the cockiness, it's like
cockiness,
If the zoobiness, if I can't now, I've lost it.
Welcome to Friday.
If they keep asking these questions, he keeps getting mad at him. Is he going to be one of these frantic guys come April when we're like in fourth place, kind of teetering or fighting with like Tottenham or Man United for the last fourth place spot? We're not in the FA Cup anymore. We're not in the Carabao Cup anymore. And he keeps getting these. Is he going to be like, you don't know who I am? Do you know how many Twitter followers I have? Like, are we going to get that? That's what
you can't handle the truth. Yeah. I think we're gonna. I mean, it's brewing, right? Like I kind of see it in him. But again, when Klopp did it, it was all good and funny. When he does it, it will be taken as he's losing it, kind of a thing. When Klopp did it, it's like, I mean, Klopp was like a douche at times, especially immediately after games in the post matches. Before he went, he even had time to breathe, to go sit down. Like when they did the standing up one by the hallway. I mean, he was like an asshole. I mean, anybody would be when things don't go well, and then somebody's asking you like a really stupid, obvious question and stuff like that. I mean, I can kind of see that. But
do you remember the Roy Hodgson interview in the tunnel when the guy asked him, "Is the penalty?" He's like, "Which one do you think it was?" And he's like, "The fuck do you think it was?" And then he goes, "Listen, let's do a new take." And the guy's like, "How was the game?" "It was great." And he just walks away.
I mean, so I think we're due in for that. But real quick, let's get to the game tomorrow. The rotation thing, his answer, I take it as we're not going to rotate unless we have to. So do we expect, real quick, let me get your guys' predictions on the starting 11, and we'll do some score predictions and get the heck out of here. Let's start with you, Gordo.
Well,
Kelleher in goal. I'll start it for you.
Yeah. If why even test Alisson in there? So I'd probably put Kelleher in net. I don't really think we're going to see too many changes. Maybe Robertson comes back in for Costas. I think Gakpo, as good as Diaz has been, I think he kind of maybe earned a starting position to play 60 minutes. We're definitely going to see Salah. I would put Nunez in just to give him the shot, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Jota line up again, which worries me. I know we talked Wednesday about like his injury record and how injury prone he is. I wouldn't want to start him. So personally, I would probably do front line of Gakpo, Nunez, Salah. Midfield, he's been kind of – Jones came in for AC Milan. Maybe we see him start. I think you have to do the rotations, but he also has been really reluctant to do so. So, in my opinion, this would be the game to do it and then go into the weekend or the midweek. But I guess that's the other thing is if you're going to do the rotations.
That's why I feel like I personally think we start the same starting 11 we've started all season.
And then rotate it at West Ham.
Everybody, hey, you boys get to play on Wednesday.
Yeah,
ourselves that. That's what I think is going to happen. Because if it was a Champions League game midweek, I think it would be totally different. We'd be talking about more rotation, who's going to get rest and stuff. But I think because it's West Ham midweek and everybody will get their chance, then he's going to go with it. I don't think he puts Gakpo in over Diaz because of one good performance, because that's kicking Diaz in the balls after his goals and stuff has carried us so far. So I'm guessing the same starting 11 as the first 4 games. What do you have on?
Yeah, it's going to be – so here's the thing. We just talked about ego. He's not going to change the starting 11 because it'll make it seem like he had something wrong the last game.
That's a good point. Yes.
So
go out there and prove how much we love the low block.
Well, he did sort of say that too. He's like, if I only made changes after losses, it would mean that I didn't do it correctly the first time.
Yeah.
Right. So
I'll never admit kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he starts the same 11. I think the only difference I'd like to see is Jota not get a start. I would like the other guys to get a go at it. If Nunez doesn't work out, if Nunez doesn't work out, you put Gakpo up there. I know Gakpo prefers to play on the left, but with the form Diaz is in, I would not disrupt it. I would leave it as is, because for club and country, he's consistent. So leave Diaz there. If Gakpo gets the start up front, go for it. If Nunez gets the start up front, go for it. But eventually, we are trending that way. It is going to happen where Jota loses that starting position. And it's solely based on production.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same starting 11. But I do think if he makes a change, Nunez comes in sooner than the 70th and 80th minute. And going from there, Nunez might take the starting role. Bournemouth haven't won a game all season against a non-real club. When they played Everton, obviously they won, but who wouldn't? But other than that, it's a draw, it's a loss, it's another loss. So there is no reason why we would go in there afraid or nervous. Go in there confident, kill the game in the first half, prove a point, and move on to Wednesday.
I mean, score predictions. Let's do that then. Bournemouth has not really had like a tough game this season so far, to be honest. Away to Forest, home Newcastle, probably the best game they played. Bournemouth at home, they played Chelsea last weekend. They really could have won that. That was kind of like
it wasn't a bad game. Wasn't a bad game. So I'd go 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0, the slot special. Gordo, what do you have?
I'm sticking with Wednesday. I think because of the Nottingham Forest game, I think it's 4-0.
See, I will not say because I went with really high last time and it fucking came to bite in the ass. So I will go with the Timuchin special, bringing out the first one this season, 3-1 at home. Hopefully it's an easy win so we can just watch people just gather around Gordo in the fan fest over there. He's signing like autographs and stuff. Bring a Sharpie so you can sign stuff over there. But yes, hopefully if you're there, like I said before, shoot us a message, send us a message. We'd love to meet you guys there at the Chicago Fan Fest. Hopefully we'll be watching a game we enjoy. Anand, welcome back to action, buddy. And Gordo, we'll see you tomorrow. And I hope all you guys have like a great weekend. And we'll see everybody for the pre-match and the post-match here. I think John is hosting the pre. So which could be a bad omen, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But he did good.
Don't put that juju on poor Johnny.
But yeah, do tune in then right after the lineup comes out. The boys will be here for the pre-match. Depends on how crazy loud it is and stuff like that over there. We might be able to hop on over the phone and show the fan fest, but we'll see how it goes. But have a great Friday, everybody, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.